This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
Becky Lynch is going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Week in Review here on the WWE Podcast. It is Sunday, December 17th, 2023. 2024 is right around the corner, and we will be into the Rumble season in full swing very, very soon. I mean, we really only have, as far as I understand it, we have, two entrants into the Royal Rumble? Was it three? I don't know, but very few. And that will change in short order as we get closer and closer to, of course, the Royal Rumble event itself. But a lot going on, including, yes, the AJ Styles heel turn. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the Charlotte Flair injury, where she'll be out for 9 months. And that's a big deal in the women's division. I know a lot of us are a bit oversaturated with Charlotte Flair. None of us really need to see her champion ever again. I understand all that. But the reality is that she right now is, I think, a centerpiece and will forever be a centerpiece as long as she's an active wrestler in the women's division. She is a centerpiece of the women's division. She is one of the original Four Horsewomen. She helped bring about the women's revolution. She's a 15-time, 14-time women's world champion. I mean, so this is bad timing for her, for WWE themselves. I'm not saying it's going to be a backbreaker, but for Charlotte Flair being out for 9 months with this knee injury, it hurts, especially given the time of year. It's the Rumble season, which means by default it's WrestleMania season. She's certainly going to miss both of those events. At the earliest, we're looking at her back, if it's maybe June, July, if things go ahead of schedule. We're looking at it at the beginning of summer, middle of summer. If not, we're talking about end of summer, fall. That's a significant injury, and one that when you look at it, it doesn't look like it is that devastating, right? Like if you watch that botch, that mishap that happened between Asuka and Charlotte in the match last week, you look at it and you're like, oh, her leg just fell on the top rope, so what? Yeah, like, oh, okay, her leg bounced off the top rope. But it bounced off in a way that I guarantee she's never had it bounce off before. And number two, those are steel cable ropes. They're taped up, but they are steel cable. They are as, stiff as it gets, and they're not meant to bend downwards. They're meant to bend sideways because people bounce off the ropes all the time, but the stiffest way to hit the top rope or to hit any rope is from the top. So it's basically like she hit a steel wire. And so obviously the knee injury happened, and it's devastating for her. And look, I'm not sitting here pretending that I am some massive Charlotte Flair fan, and I've always been in her, a cheerleader for her. I've been exhausted of her, just as many of you have as well. But I'm looking at this from a humanitarian perspective of like, okay, this woman dedicates her life to this profession. She lives, breathes, and eats the gym. She clearly loves it. And you're coming up on the most important part of the year for your profession, and you get injured. I mean, from just a pure human standpoint, you have to feel for her. You may be exhausted of her character. You may feel a bit just overwhelmed with sometimes how often they give her the belt and all that. And I understand, but it's still a big loss. So we'll see how they bounce back moving forward. Of course, Jade Cargill still has yet to debut in WWE, and that is certainly a matchup at some point, Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair, that is absolutely going to happen. To me, that's a sure thing to happen upon Charlotte Flair's return whenever Jade Cargill decides to show up, which I think will actually be at the Royal Rumble. I think when you look at the women's division, Jade Cargill is going to be have a massive impact. Won't win the Rumble, but will have a lot to say and make a ton of noise in the Women's Royal Rumble this year. Clear house, have a record number of eliminations, that kind of thing. So that's what I expect, and it's a shame that Charlotte Flair isn't going to have that opportunity to come face-to-face with Jade in the ring yet, but patience is what we're going to all have to have on that one. Now, speaking of the women's division, when you look at Damage Control this week, it's like nothing happened. And that's probably by design. I think that maybe they felt they were going a little too quickly on the Damage Control Bayley split, because all of us have been expecting that for, about 5 months now. We're all just sitting here going, can we please have this happen? Can we please have this happen? And it doesn't seem like it was the right time. But now, with their vignette backstage in a very smoky backstage area, they're all talking about being united. And I thought it was effective. And having Bayley talk about her goal about being, what Damage Control would be, those dominant women's faction in WWE, which is a big LOL. But now it is, by the numbers game, and Asuka being brought on, and Kairi Sane, and you have the Kabuki Warriors back together, which I really like them together. And, that to me is it was a nice touch to show, oh wait, no, they are unified. But to me, it's also a setup for a turn at the Rumble. Because when you look at the landscape, you look at the Damage Control group, obviously Bayley is going to get kicked to the curb. It's just, of course she is. She's going to turn face, fine. And actually, now with Charlotte Flair gone, that need is greater than ever, as Charlotte was a baby face in the women's division. And filling it with Bayley seems to be the right fit. Now, to me, what's going to happen is Bayley is going to be eliminated from the Rumble by one of her teammates, or Bayley is going to cost one of her teammates by accident, and then they eliminate her. And Splitsville, I think, is going to come to a head at Rumble when they're all faced with competing with one another in the ring, when they work together, but then all of a sudden one of the team members wants to turn on the other to eliminate them, that kind of thing. So I think it's a setup for the real turn that's coming at the Royal Rumble with Bayley and Damage Control. So that's my guess. Now, before we go any further, thank you everybody for joining me here on the WWE podcast. We are here almost every day. I think Thursday is the only day we don't publish, if I'm correct. Pretty sure Thursday is the only day we don't do a show. And I've actually had people ask, hey, can you do a show on Thursday? I need, we could, but I really need a break. Honestly, it's not going to probably happen in the near future. I need a rest. After Wednesday, I kind of take a deep breath and enjoy my few days and that kind of thing. But, if you guys have ideas for a Thursday show, let me know, and maybe I'll ponder them down the road. But we are here almost every single day for your wrestling audio needs, and we are here ad-free as well. If you don't want to deal with the ads that you've heard already in the show, you can go to Apple Podcasts and go ad-free there with a button. There's the ad-free button on Apple. Or WWEpodcast.com if you go VIP. Or the favorite option, which is patreon.com/WWE Podcast, which is a great way to not only go ad-free, but also have a Discord server that you can chat with the other patrons in. Pretty fun little gig, and get exclusive shows and all that kind of thing. But check it out. All right. Well, let's get into a little bit of SmackDown, as we saw this emanate from Green Bay, Wisconsin. And it started with Roman Reigns coming out, to people cheering at the beginning and then really hammering it home when he came out. And this, to me, was probably the first time since his... how long has he been doing this now, where he's really been taking time off? I think it was after WrestleMania 38. This is the first time that even after that, those absences, those long month, sometimes 2-month absences where he'd come back and people would still cheer him. This is the first time he's come back and people are genuinely just like, we don't want to see you. We're done with this. And it felt that way. I don't know if you guys picked up on that too. Typically there's a lot more cheers for Roman. This time I sensed it was more of WWE booing his title reign and just being done with it. And it was more of that than, not respecting his character or thinking that he hasn't improved or thinking he's not on a legendary run. We know all that. It's really using Roman as a conduit to boo the company's decision to keep the belt on him. That's really, I think, what it's turned to now, which ironically is what we did when Roman Reigns was a babyface for 7 years. And we just, for the most part, rejected it and Vince was in a war of attrition with the fans. Guess who ultimately won? That's right. So toot our horns. But when Roman comes back now, it's just, I don't know. Does anybody even feel like it's a big deal anymore? I don't. I know there's a lot of Roman Reigns defenders out there. I'm not saying he's not a good champion, or in terms of just feeling like he deserves it, or that he's not one of the greatest of all time. He is. It just, you can't tell me that it feels special with him in there anymore. That strategy is beaten to death. It's gone. That luster of he's not here that much, so it feels special when he is gone. It's more now, to me, when he's there, a reminder that he's not there. Instead of, oh, he's here, isn't that cool, big SmackDown? It's almost working in the reverse, where it's a constant reminder with these sparing appearances of, that's right, we have a champion that's holding the title hostage, and we want some unpredictability in this title reign. That's the other thing. Beyond it being now just a flip reminder and doing the opposite of what WWE thinks it's doing by having it be special when he's there, which to me is gone, is that almost every one of Roman Reigns' title runs, the majority, not all, have been outright predictable. Because you look at it from big pay-per-view to big pay-per-view to big pay-per-view, and you go, well, we're almost to SummerSlam. They're not going to have him lose it at the pay-per-view before, so that's not going to happen. He'll probably go to SummerSlam as champion. He gets to SummerSlam as champion, and you're like, well, Jey Uso, it doesn't make sense. Jey Uso's probably not going to win because he just doesn't feel right now. And so there goes that. And you go from big match to big match. Saudi Arabia, it doesn't make sense. LA Knight feels like the right guy, but they're not going to do it because of this. And you always see this as, it might be a good match, and Roman puts on very good matches. He is very good in the ring. I compliment him to the moon on that. But the other big thing is, even when he's in title matches, fans are just going, great, cool, let's just have a great match. But unfortunately, the soul of this match is taken out because we already know he's not going to lose. So his match interest, to me, has declined. I understand Randy Orton has a big, a big career behind him. He's got, I think, a solid career in front of him, even with his age. He looks better than ever. You could make a case for Randy Orton to win. Do I think he's going to? No, and I'll stand by that. But the case to have a Randy Orton win is strong, but not strong enough. They now see, and here's the reason I've given from his 500th day to his 1,000th day is, they look at now this as a landmark. They look at this now as just a mathematical conquest. That's all they're looking. That's what they do now. And it's awful to say. And that's why this title run is just, I don't want to say boring, but extremely frustrating. Because you look at this and you're like, oh, this person would be great. Perfect timing. Sami Zayn, Elimination Chamber, Montreal, couldn't be better. Storyline wise, it's a fairy tale ending. Let's do this. But that happened before 1,000 days, and they were sacrificing everything for that 1,000 days, and we got to the 1,000. And now they're like, well, we've got to 1,000, but what if? And they start eyeing Hulk Hogan's record, which all Roman has to do is get to September as champion, and he beats Hulk Hogan. And you can imagine WWE saying to themselves, hey, the fans are frustrated, we know that. Roman's barely here, but they have Seth on Raw. He's a babyface champion. He's a fighting champion. He's here every week defending his championship. And they think somehow that that's some kind of distraction or enough of a consolation prize or enough of a deodorizer to make us not care the fact that Roman's not here, or to kind of soften the blow. And in some ways it does. But when he shows up, it's a constant reminder. And you look at this now and you say, like I said, oh, wait, Hulk Hogan, it's within striking distance. When are we ever going to have an opportunity like this again? When are we ever going to have a champion with this long of a reign? This is historic. This is once in a lifetime. You can hear them talking themselves into it. But I'll give WWE, I'll let them in on a little secret. Here's the secret, okay? Don't tell anybody. the majority of fans, I can't speak for everybody, but I've got my pulse on the fans, I think, better than WWE does at times. I think I do, because I am one. I'm on the outside looking in while they're on the inside looking out. I think most fans don't give a damn, and I'm putting that extremely nice because this is a PG show. They don't give a damn about days anymore. They don't care about the number of days. They don't care about the fact that Roman is going to beat this person's record, that person's record. What if it were to happen tomorrow, right? Like, say Hulk Hogan's record is tomorrow. Would you look at Roman Reigns any different? Would you say, oh, well, his career it's going to totally shift if you just make him, if he surpasses Hulk Hogan or if he surpasses whoever? No. The answer is no. Because you have given up so much over the last really 18 months, when it's really gotten bad, of not allowing and not giving guys opportunities to compete for belts and making championship matches too predictable, where you know, based on how they've done this in the past, there's no chance, there's no chance, there's no chance. Oh, wait, there might be a chance. Oh, never mind, no chance, no chance. Oh, Roman's not here for 4 months. Okay, no chance. I'm going to defend it at WrestleMania. Then I won't defend it against or again until SummerSlam. We're going 4 or 5 months now between title reigns and title defenses. This is, I mean, it's inexcusable. I don't care what they think their goal is. I don't care what number they're going to get to. I don't care if he beats Bruno Sammartino's record. I know that that's really almost impossible, I would think, given that he'd have to hold it for another 3.5 years. But they're halfway to that. So to them, it's scorched earth. They're too far in, and they're saying, well, fans are already used to this. Screw it. They're already angry. We might as well get to the milestone we want to, so that we can, remove Hulk Hogan from the number 3 spot. So I'll get off Roman. I will. But again, all that said, it's good seeing him. If he wasn't champion, I'd feel much better, obviously, seeing him, because you wouldn't feel like he's just got a death grip on that belt, and WWE has no interest in having him drop it. And it is fun, and he is good in the ring, and he's improved vastly on the microphone, and he is much more polished, and all of that. I don't believe Randy Orton is going to beat Roman, but there's a chance, just like, when LA Knight was facing Roman, just like when Drew McIntyre faced Roman, just like when Sami Zayn faced Roman. There are those certain guys that you look at and go, I'd give them a significant chance, but Randy Orton probably isn't the right guy to WWE. So we'll see. Now, Roman Reigns did say he's in the holiday spirit on SmackDown, and that he's going to, say that Solo Sikoa is second in line now. He's the heir to the tribal chief's position, which is fine. I mean, it angered Jimmy, but who the hell cares? I mean, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be all negative about this, and I was all about this storyline a year ago, and I stand by that. They did an excellent job with that storytelling. Excellent. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso really were the I think the life of that story, and they did a great job. But Jimmy did his great part, and Roman did his great part playing the mob boss. All that. But does anyone care about the heir to the tribal chief anymore? Is anyone even invested in, Jimmy's not happy with Roman. He feels slighted. Oh, wait, is Solo going to turn on Jimmy? No one cares anymore. That's not interesting. Why are we redoing this again? This is not the story people want. People want outsiders. The Civil War crap it's beyond done. It was great while it lasted. It's done. And yes, Randy Orton's an outsider. But why are we still seeing and hearing about conflict in the bloodline? Are we really still doing this? Are we running this back? How many times? So I just wanted to vent on this, because it's a storyline that, honestly, while it used to be the storyline that was the backbone of SmackDown, has really, I think, weighed it down now. It's a weight on the show, to me. And it's not unwatchable. It's not embarrassing. It's just we've done this. We've been here. Randy Orton is just the latest face. And if he beats Roman at Rumble, wonderful, great. Roman can go in his hiding in underground or whatever he does, and sit at home for 4 months and show up every 3-4 months. Fine, cool, that'd be great, and you instantly turn him babyface. But to also say, and this is the last point I'll make, I've spent the first 15-20 minutes on Roman, but he's back, and I think I have a duty to comment on his show here, or his showing. We're constantly told about the number of days, which is all WWE has their hat to hang on right now, and no one honestly outside of WWE themselves gives a damn about the days anymore. Is that, oh, look at the number of days, right? But again, you go 4 months at a time not defending your belt. That's what, 120 days tacked on in chunks where you're not there. And I'm not asking him to be there every week. I'm not asking him to defend it even every month, even every other month, but it'd be fine. And it's just, it's almost a joke. It's a joke. I'm not saying his title reign's a joke. I'm saying how they have tried to make this all about the number of days and yet don't see the fatal flaw in these large, massive chunks of time that they're just throwing into this total number of 1,000 days, 1,100 days, 1,200 days, 1,300 days. And we're all supposed to go, yeah, we know, but why don't we take the percentage of days that he's actually been on the show and give me that percentage? What's that number? All right, I'll stop with Roman. I know a lot of you will probably comment on that, intro here I've talked about, and that's fine. And if you're still enjoying the Roman storyline, awesome. I never try to discourage anyone from enjoying a storyline. That's not my goal. My goal is just give you my opinion, and a lot of you very strongly disagree with me. That's fine. That's what the podcast is for, right? All right. But Randy tried to RKO Roman here, and then he made Roman laugh when he said that I'm getting this in, like he's on a field. He's a field reporter with a mic in his ear. He's like, the voices in my head are telling me you just crapped your pants, which a little sophomoric, whatever. And that also, Daddy's back. So he's really honing in on that line, knowing that it got over, and it did. Daddy's back it fits Randy for some reason. But him still believing that he is the legend killer, I actually still like that. He's still at 43 years old or however old he is, still believes that he's the legend killer. It's just, I'm not laughing at it. I think it's just, it brings a smile to my face, because you would think that that's something for a young man trying to make a name for himself by taking out legends. And that's what Randy did early in his career. And he still 20 years later is doing this. It's great. I really like that. Now, let me comment on AJ Styles. I'm going a bit out of order today. I'm feeling spicy today. AJ Styles coming back is good. I like it. And whatever gym or juice, maybe both, that Randy and AJ went to rehab, I mean, can I get some of that? Because everyone leaving that comes back now is jacked. Like, did you see AJ Styles? Where are these guys going? Where are they? Are they prescribed to the Ultimate Warrior Rehab Center? I mean, where are they? I've never seen this before. They're not leaning out. They're bulking up and getting cut. I don't know. I'm not saying they're juicing, but I mean, at the same time, it looks like they are. I don't think they are, because in today's day and age with the wellness policy, unless Endeavor suspended it, is ridiculous. I don't believe they are. I'm not accusing them, but boy. But that said, that wasn't my point. AJ back, attacking the Bloodline at the end of SmackDown was a nice touch to the show, and it was unexpected because a lot of us didn't expect AJ to return on SmackDown. We thought it would be at a pay-per-view, And he hit the most delayed phenomenal forearm on Roman, where Roman had about 10 seconds to step out of the way. Instead, he's just looking up, like, staring into the night sky. It just, the timing was about 5 seconds off, and it just felt kind of silly. I mean, who can't see the phenomenal forearm coming? That said, I had no problem with it as far as AJ attacking Roman. The weird part about this was having AJ attack LA Knight. And I know there's a lot of speculation on this. I don't have a problem with it from the perspective of LA Knight and LA Knight and AJ Styles. Sounds like a fun program, and I'll have no issue with the matches. And it's another high profile match for AJ Styles, or for LA Knight specifically, which LA Knight will probably come out on top of. But what's weird is, after AJ already attacked Roman with the phenomenal forearm, about a minute later, walks by the Bloodline on the ramp, and they just stare at each other. And it's like, bro, you just hit the tribal chief with the phenomenal forearm, and no one's going to do anything about it? We're just suddenly just going to stare at each other? That was weird. It was just a logistical thing that I don't think they thought through. And it's just like, okay, Roman's not going to do anything about it? He's not going to sick his dogs on him? What, because he attacked LA Knight? Does that suddenly forgive him? It was a weird kind of just like, I don't know how to feel about this. Why is no one doing anything? But it was essentially a heel turn for AJ, I would imagine. But at the same time attacking Roman. So I don't know what this AJ Styles, I guess it's a heel turn, but he attacked both, so who the hell knows? Again, for LA Knight, this is a positive. He has somebody to work with again, because Roman obviously can't work with him because he's working with Randy at the Rumble. So AJ and LA Knight are probably going to be in the Rumble and not having a singles match at the Rumble. So I would imagine that they're going to have their match at in the first week or two of January. Get that out of the way on SmackDown. It'll be a big showcase match, and then they're both involved in the Rumble itself, the Rumble match. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So, but Randy Orton and Jimmy Uso work well together. Jimmy has never felt more irrelevant, yet he's in the biggest group, arguably, in the company. It's weird, right? It's weird that Jimmy feels irrelevant, because I think we never getting an explanation from Jimmy or Roman why he let Jimmy back in, given the history. Hurt things. It was just accepted. And also Jimmy saying yeet and Roman looking at him, being annoyed by that, because Jey would say that. I think Jimmy and Jey are going to have a match at Mania. That's probably where they're going with this, which is fine. Seeing the two brothers fight one another is going to be a fun deal. Jey is certainly going to be the fan favorite in that one, but Jimmy just he's the guy that just takes the bumps for the group now. He's become the enhancement talent for the group. And it's not to say he's lost everything from where he was, but a significant portion of it is just kind of like, I don't know why I should feel anything for Jimmy Uso. He's irrelevant in a very relevant group, if that makes any sense. But I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Jimmy. I don't know. I really have no idea. But Solo Sikoa, they're clearly grooming here for that next big spot. And maybe Roman and Solo will have a program after Mania. Probably a very likely thing to happen. Okay. Let's see here. We've got... Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, who I think he was on SmackDown last week and lost convincingly. I forget who his opponent was. And now this week he's got a vignette with Scarlett, and he's, again, kind of speaking in riddles a little bit, but he's saying he's getting basically a fresh start. It seems like he's going to get a spin on his gimmick a bit. Being repackaged to some degree is a good thing for Karrion Kross. For those of you that are fans of him, I do believe as well that there's more that's there than what they've presented with Karrion Kross. It feels like he's been a bit on the back burner for a while and then loses match after match after match, at least the big ones. So I'm interested to see what this repackaging of Karrion Kross is. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but I'm all for giving it an opportunity. All right, then we continued the U.S. title tournament, and the first matchup was Carmelo Hayes and Grayson Waller, and this was a Carmelo Hayes victory over Grayson Waller in about 10 minutes. The finish was Melo avoiding the rolling stunner and landed the first 48. He then followed up with a nothing but net from the top for the win. And a great looking move. If you've never seen Carmelo Hayes' finish, it's a very good looking move. And Grayson Waller loses again. I'd love to see, I would look it up, but I'm too lazy, what Grayson Waller's win-loss record is. What is that? It's got to be horrific. But Grayson Waller he's over. No matter how many times he loses, when he does his Grayson Waller effect segment, people hate him and they react to him. So the losses aren't hurting him too much. All right. We then have Austin Theory versus Kevin Owens for the U.S. title tournament match. And a fun match. One that was, 13 minutes and 32 seconds. WWE did a nice job of reminding us about the injury to the hand for Kevin Owens. Very, very timely reminder, a very important reminder as Kevin Owens goes into that match, so you know what Austin Theory is going to be targeting and what could help or what could limit Kevin Owens in the match. And Kevin did a nice job throughout the match of selling it. Austin Theory targeting it. It was nice. It was a nice, just kind of old school heel picks the body part that's injured on the babyface, and the babyface tries to struggle. There's a lot of selling by the babyface. Great, just good stuff. Back to basics here in this match. And they work very well together. The finish, if you didn't see it, was Theory placing Owens on the top rope, and then Owens slipped out and hung Theory from the top rope. He landed a cannonball and then hit a swanton bomb for another close near fall. Owens went for the stunner, but Theory avoided it and attacked Owens' hand. He then pulled Owens to the floor and slammed his hand into the ring post and steps, and then back in the ring, it dawned on Owens to use the cast as a weapon. He then landed a forearm that knocked out Theory and got the victory. So this kind of was a throwback. There's been a lot of these kind of storylines in WWE in the past, and typically they're heels that use these things to their advantage. But I don't have a problem with Kevin Owens using it as long as it doesn't turn him heel by accident. The best example I can come up with, and one that I absolutely love, if you guys remember D'Lo Brown in the late 90s, he had some kind of chest or rib injury that was the storyline, and he had a chest protector. And D'Lo Brown used the chest protector to his advantage as a heel to beat his opponents. So that I love that part of the heel run. But this with Kevin, it made sense. We'll have to see if Nick Aldis has anything to say about this moving forward. But all right, we got, Damage Control's package, which I already mentioned, and then Michin and Zelina Vega versus Asuka and Kairi Sane, the Kabuki Warriors. Michin and Zelina attacked the Kabuki Warriors from behind on their way to the ring, which was a bit surprising with the babyfaces doing that. But the finish was the Kabuki Warriors beating Michin and Zelina in just under 7 minutes. And we had Asuka tagging in, applying the Asuka lock on Vega. Vega escaped by turning over into a pinfall, and then Michin tagged in, landed a spine buster on Asuka. She covered, but Kairi broke it up. Vega got involved, but got taken out to the floor and smashed onto the announce table by Sane. And in the ring, Michin climbed the top rope. Bayley ran down, shoved her off the top, and Dakota distracted the referee. Asuka landed a kick, and Kairi landed the insane elbow for the victory, or win, whatever one. So that's the women's tag team division for you. A 6.5 minute special. it goes to show you, like, I didn't hate this match. In fact, it's nice to see women have tag matches that aren't about the championship, but it's so short. And I feel like all 4 of these women deserve like a 12-minute match, not 6, but all right. The crowd didn't seem to give a damn either, I have to say. They just didn't. All right. We got Jimmy Uso versus Randy Orton, as I said, in the main event, with Randy Orton beating Jimmy in 11 minutes and 50 seconds. So this, again, the finish was what it was, which I already talked about a few minutes ago. I don't know if this is leading up to an AJ Styles versus LA Knight versus Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton. I mean, I don't know what this ultimate goal of AJ turning heel is. I would imagine that he's kind of a tweener, though, given that he attacked Roman and attacked Knight. I think the fans will still reject him because he attacked their fan favorite. I also think this is good for LA Knight, because LA Knight has been kind of shoved to the side a bit, given all the big returns after his loss to Roman at the last event that he had a championship match in. He ends up kind of taking a back seat to all the talk being CM Punk, all the talk being Randy Orton, right? And he's still getting good reactions, and that's great to hear from the fans, but you're a little bit worried given, oh, that's right, we have LA Knight. And I felt like that at times. I'm like, because there's so much talk, so much chatter, so much buzz around Orton and especially Punk that you worry about Knight. And I'm sure some of you said, oh, that's right, I wonder what the hell LA Knight's going to do now. But the fans have stuck by him, and that's key. That is a key thing to do if you want to see LA Knight succeed. So, all right, that was SmackDown. As far as the Monday Night Raw event goes from this past week, a very quick rundown. We got CM Punk choosing Raw, as we all know. We got, let's see here, as far as matches go, Drew McIntyre versus Jey Uso. This match was 13 minutes long, with Jey losing to Drew McIntyre. And it was because of the referee trying to fix the turnbuckle pad. McIntyre and gouged the eye of Jey. So very old school heel move, attacking the eyes. Good stuff. And let's see, a lot of CM Punk promotion. We got the Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley versus Maxxine Dupri with Ivy Nile. If you remember, as you would imagine, Rhea Ripley absolutely demolished Maxxine Dupri in about 2 minutes. And very dominant here. We got the Punk promo and what that all entailed. I'm not going to do a transcription of that. You can all go back and listen to the Punk promo. In the end, it came down to Rollins and Punk in the ring for a very memorable interaction, though, with no physicality. No official match set between Rollins and Punk. I think it was more of just setting the table for a future program, which could be at the Rumble, but unlikely. Very much likely that very likely that it is at WrestleMania against Seth Rollins. So I think that's probably where they're headed. So a lot of fun here with Punk and Rollins telling Punk not to call WWE his home. It's great. It's great. And, I made this point too. Like, it is true. What Rollins said about Punk is true. You can't say that some place is your home that you abandoned 10 years ago. And some people say, oh, when you go off to college. Well, when you go off to college, do you actively try to burn your house down and everyone in it? Is that the same thing? I know. I mean, figuratively. I'm not saying literally. Do you try to take everyone down with you when you leave? And also, when you're gone, do you come back for holidays? I'd imagine you do if you're trying to make this college analogy. Oh, you're off at college. You come back. Almost everyone does for holidays, and then you go back to college. I did it. A lot of people listening to this show, I'm sure, did it. It's a place that you can go to hang your hat. Home is a place that you can go for stability, ideally. It's a place that you know you'll always be welcome back. And that's what home is, in a very short description. That's not a place that CM Punk has with WWE or had with WWE from like 2014 up until 2022, I want to say. Okay. So the college analogy is out the window. And also, again, when you leave, are you trying to take down your parents? Are you trying to take down your brothers and sisters in the house when you leave? No. So home is such a nonsense term, and I totally agree with Seth Rollins on this one. That home is not something WWE or Punk believes WWE is. Truly believes. The dollars may make him say that, but not his heart. Okay? It's just fact. So, I know a lot of you disagree with me, but I was all on Seth's side on this. Now, it does make you also wonder, when they get to this match with Punk and Rollins, how do they turn Seth? Or do they turn Seth? Do they turn Punk? Do they not turn anybody and let the crowd decide? Be fun to see how that goes. Okay, Punk did sign with Raw, as I said, as everyone expected. Bronson Reed versus Ivar. Bronson Reed beat Ivar in about 8 minutes. We got, let's see, Undertaker's one-man show, by the way, is taking place in Clearwater, Florida on January 28th, for those of you that are going to be there. We had R-Truth again, who's just continues to be a joy on our TV screens every week. I mean, you don't really realize how much you loved R-Truth until he suddenly pops back up and you're like, man, this guy's just so fun. And he's not a clown where you laugh at him and you laugh at him. You're kind of laughing with him. And he's such a genuinely good dude. You can tell that. I mean, and seeing Judgment Day beat him down, there's no better way to get heat than beating down poor old R-Truth, who's just there to have a good time. It's good stuff. So the Judgment Day beat him down. It was good. I mean, it was good if you want heat. But we did get the Creeds fighting off the Judgment Day. Katana Chance and Caden Carter faced Candice LeRae, not Candice Michelle, and Indy Hartwell. Caden Carter and Katana Chance beat Candice and Indy in 2 minutes and 25 seconds. Again, you look at the women's matches here in tag team action. It was 6 minutes on SmackDown. Obviously, yeah, much more star power on SmackDown in that match than here. But still, 2 minutes and 25 seconds in a 3-hour show for a women's tag team match? Is it just, I feel like when you do that, it's just to check a box. Say, oh, yep, we did that. Oh, see, yeah, we have women's wrestling. See, yep, no, we did. You know what I mean? It feels like they're doing it just to say they're doing it, but there's no purpose with this. How can you possibly give somebody a fair chance with 2 minutes and 25 seconds? And their entrance is cut from Hulu especially. It's just not fair. All right? I mean, it sounds whiny, but somebody in WWE needs to explain to me, if you're going to really take women's wrestling seriously, how is this helpful? How is 2 minutes and 25 seconds? They might as well not be on the show. You want to know why? Because it sends the message when they're only on for 2 minutes that they don't really matter. Okay? They don't really matter in the scheme of the story. They're not really a part of the show. They're here to just kind of placate to those that say women's wrestling isn't important in WWE. And those that want to argue against that can't because, well, they're on the show. What do you want? What else more do you want? And it's just frustrating. I'm not saying they need to be the main event, but at least show consistency and longevity in their matches. I don't need 20 minutes. Give me 10. You know what I mean? Even 8, 9, 10 minutes is a significant difference from 2 minutes. So I think to me, having them on the show for 2 minutes is more insulting than not at all. Honestly, because it just is like, it feels like they're checking a box. Sitting there backstage with a clipboard, and one of the boxes says, women's tag team match. And they check the box. Yes. You know what I mean? All right. We got backstage. We got the whole Becky Lynch. Well, not backstage, but Nia Jax and Becky Lynch came face to face here. This was a lot of fun. And to Nia Jax's credit, she did hold her own. She had some nice long zingers. Their match is something to me that I'm interested in more than I thought I would be. I do not like Nia Jax, as many of you know, but I got to give credit where it's due. And this match is more exciting than I thought it would be. I don't think it's going to be match of the year. In fact, I know it won't be. But to me, the storyline is interesting enough where I will be paying attention. And Nia brushing off Becky, saying she needs this more than I need this, is really nice. And bringing back the 5 years ago bloody nose, fun. Calling back to history is something that I think WWE doesn't do enough. Sometimes they want to just pretend nothing happened. This was fun. And I'm looking forward to the match when it happens. Okay, Miz, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa versus Imperium, Gunther, Kaiser, and Vinci. This match was 10 minutes and 40 seconds with Miz, Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa beating Imperium. And then we got Shinsuke Nakamura and Cody Rhodes. This match lasted 17 minutes with Cody Rhodes beating Shinsuke in or by disqualification. And this was because of the mist. And Shinsuke then brutalized Cody after the match. So nice heat on Shinsuke. We then Julius Creed and Brutus Creed ran out, causing Nakamura to leave the ring. So they continue to be the moral support for the baby faces. I know a lot of you don't like the Creed brothers or think they're plain Jane, and they are right now. They're doing all their speaking in the ring. Their outfits aren't super exciting. Their entrance isn't super exciting, but boy, do they kick ass in the ring. And that's all they've got to hang their hat on right now, with even out of personality. So once they add the personality and the music and the flash, if they do, I think they'll be in even better shape. So overall, I know I spent 20 minutes bitching about Roman Reigns and the title run, but I do want to say, guys, I can't make this clear. For those that think I'm crapping on Roman Reigns himself, or he's not important in WWE, or he's not needed at all, I don't think anyone, let me just underscore this, no one is so important that WWE can't survive without them. And that's what I mean by when I say WWE doesn't need Roman. I could say they don't need LA Knight. They don't need Randy Orton. They didn't even need Stone Cold Steve Austin. WWE went on just fine without him. The Rock, they didn't need The Rock. So that's my point is, like, I think I should have clarified. They don't need his title reign anymore. Okay? So I want to say that. His title reign is doing more harm than good. That's it. That's the crux of my argument. I don't know what the argument is anymore that to me would solidify the position that this is doing more good than harm. What is that? The number of days? Okay, he beats Hogan. There's nothing left. So what? That's my position. So I want to clarify that because I'm feeling a lot of you are going to be hitting me on the mailbag with that, and that's fine. We can have a little fun debate. All right, well, that will do it for me on the Weekend Review here on the Sunday edition of the show. I'll be back tomorrow night with Anthony DeBarco as we cover the current state of WWE. I don't know what our topic is yet. Sometimes we wing it. We'll see. We'll see what comes to our minds. And I'll be back then. Consider going ad-free. If you don't like the ads, patreon.com/WWE podcast, Apple, WWEpodcast.com. Great ways to get all the ads out of your system, out of your hair. I'd say it's out of my hair, but I ain't got none. So, all right, that's it for me. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Take care, and I'll talk to you next time.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.